Hello friends, this is your friend Professor Iqbal here, and once again I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel My Grammar Classes. In our previous episode of lecture, we have already discussed about what is a noun phrase, and what are noun clauses. Now in this episode of lecture we are going to discuss what are relative clauses and comparative clauses. Now let us continue our discussion by discussing what are relative clauses. If you see, the name of this clause, relative clauses, makes us very clear that it relates itself with the noun phrase. Okay, relative clauses, they have a pronoun which relates themselves with the noun phrase. They have a pronoun which relates themselves with the noun phrase, and because of this reason they are called as relative clauses. They relate themselves with the noun phrase. Now, let us take some examples so that you will get a clear picture of that. The man who spoke excellently is my friend. The man who spoke excellently is my friend. The flower which is presented to the guest is very expensive. The book which he refers is M.H. Abraham's literary terms. The man who delivered an excellent lecture is the chief minister of our country. If you see in all these examples, okay, the relative pronoun relates itself with the noun phrase. The man who delivered, the man is the noun phrase who delivered an excellent lecture. Okay, the man who delivered a lecture, or the man who delivered an excellent lecture. So here, who delivered an excellent lecture is our CM, or the flower which is presented to him, is very expensive. Okay, or the person who spoke excellently is my friend. The person who spoke excellently is my friend. In all these examples you can see there is one relative pronoun which is relating the clause to the noun phrase, and because of this reason relative clauses always function as post modifiers of NP. Now I would like to bring in front of you the structure of noun phrase. Generally the structure of noun phrase will be modifier, head and modifier. Okay, head word will decide the phrase. Okay, head word will decide the phrase. So modifier, head, modifier. So whatever comes before the head word is pre-modifier, and whatever comes after head is post modifier. Okay, now here, so MHM is the structure of a noun phrase, but what will be the structure of a relative clause? MH, a relative clause. So it post modifies a noun phrase. This will be the structure of what? Relative clauses. Now the boy who spoke so nicely. Okay, the boy who spoke so nicely, John who spoke so nicely, the man who delivered a lecture. Okay, the fairy who goes so fast. But we have to say London, which is very famous. Then the fox, which is very notorious. Okay, and the book, which is very famous. So see, when we are talking about human beings we have to use what? Who. But when we are talking about animals, names or places, and when we are talking about objects we have to use which. This is something personal and non-personal things, we have to use different relative pronouns. So this is something just I wanted to tell you about relative clauses. They function as post modifiers of NP. Now let us go to the next one, that is called as comparative clauses. Now in comparative clauses we will have some comparative markers. Now these comparative markers are ER, less or more. Okay, now these comparative markers are ER, less or more. Now let us see what actually happens in the comparative clauses, and there will also be a conjunction than. For example, in life we spend more than we earn. She enjoys theatre more than her friend does. She was less noisy than her friend at this age. Now if you see all these examples. If you see all these examples, you will come to know that there is a comparative marker, and soon after comparative marker there is what? If there is a conjunction and which begins the entire clause. That is, once again, in life we spent more than. In life we spend more than we earn. More than we earn is comparative clause. She enjoys the theater more than her friend does. More than her friend does is comparative clause. It's comparative clause. She was less noisy. Less noisy. Okay, less noisy than her friend at this age. So less noisy than her friend at this age. So this is nothing but a comparative clause. So there will be a comparative marker which will give you a signal, which will make you aware that this is a comparative clause. Apart from this itself, there are many examples which you can have. There are many examples which you can have. This house is taller than that house. This house is taller than that house actually is. Got a clear idea? So this is how comparative clauses can function. Now comparative clauses, they are quite simple, there is no doubt in that, and they always go with the comparative markers, and there will be a conjunction that begins the comparative clause, and it can modify an adjective or adverbs too. It can modify adjective or adverbs too. So friends, this is something I wanted to convey you. If still you have any doubt and confusion, please ask me, and definitely I'll take your doubt and confusion seriously, and I'll make a video on it, and we will definitely come to conclusion. We will definitely try to solve your problems. Thank you very much everyone for watching this video. Have a good day ahead.